Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining me for another podcast episode for CSM Practice. The customer success realm of possibilities is going to be opening up to you because we're going to rock your world with some cool methodologies. This time would help you to keep your customers. How do I know this? Because I have the one and only Ali Cudby. You got to read her book, Keep Your Customers. Excellent book. We're going to talk about what is this book about? Why did she write it? She has a framework called Mint in her book, and she's going to do us a solid and teach us all about it. And then you can go buy her book and read some more or hire her team and help her crush your churn issues and whatnot. Ali, I'm so delighted to have you today.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here.
Every now and then I get the pleasure of having somebody with real expertise and methodologies coming in and share it with everyone. Maybe help us understand your book, Keep Your Customers. When did you issue it and what led you to even write it?
So the book came out on April 15th, 2020. A couple weeks before that, the world changed a little. So it was an interesting journey because everything that I had planned to launch the book had to turn on a dime. I was 23 months into a 24-month process of writing this book, and everything had to change. And what was cool was that I was able to use a lot of the strategies from the book, go to my customers and people that sort of follow me, was able to convert my entire launch strategy into something virtual. And the book still hit #1 on the bestseller list, which I was very excited about. And I was able to do that just sort of by turning on a dime and leaning into the people who have followed me in my career. So the application of the strategies at work.
Awesome. What is the book about?
The book is about how do you cultivate long-term loyalty from your customers. As we all know, it's great to get new customers, but if you don't keep them, then you're not going to grow as a company. And for some companies, especially in sort of the software and tech worlds where implementations can be more complicated, you're not even seeing profitability until years 2 or 3 or beyond. So if you don't get that first renewal, then you're actually serving that customer at a loss. So what do you do to make sure that when you get to that moment of renewal, it's not only easy, but it's a no-brainer because you've laid the groundwork for that conversation, not just in the month before, but the entire year before. That's what the book is about.
And the framework to do that is spelled out MINT, Mint. Can you tell us what this acronym stands for?
It is an acronym, also reminiscent of my company's name, Alignment Growth Strategies. And so that's where that came from. And so it's a 4-step process. The first is to make a mantra. A lot of times companies think about their mission and their vision and their values, and it's a very company-centric activity. But they don't take the time in a lot of cases to think about who do we want to be on behalf of our customers? What do we want that customer facing mission to look like? How do we want that to show up in our relationships? Because they can be different. How you engage is different if you want to be efficient versus we want to be white glove. And so who do we want to be on behalf of our customers? And creating that in a mantra, in a short, punchy phrase that encapsulates who we want to be, that we can use it as a touch point. Like anytime you're in a sticky customer conversation, it's the thing that can guide you. And it's like, okay, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I have my mantra. And in the book, I also call it a bullseye. So how is it that we can have this articulation that aims right at the heart of who we want to be as a company on behalf of our customers?
Can you give me an example? You work with a ton of different companies. Can you give me a cool example of a company you worked with and what was their like bullseye mission statement?
I was working with an ed tech company, and a lot of their work on behalf of the teachers that they were certifying was around growth mindset. So in addition to the pedagogy of what they were teaching these folks who wanted to become teachers, it was also about how do you create growth mindset for your students. So that was embedded into who they were as a company, who they wanted to be culturally. We went through their world and went through this process that I outlined step by step in the book. And we ended up with this mantra of embrace the yet. So growth mindset is all about not saying no, like I can't do something, but about saying I can't do it yet. Embrace the yet became so embedded into the culture of the company, they actually created a little mascot, the Yeti, and they made the Yeti part of their curriculum. They made it a teaching tool. They gave all of their students, people who were getting certified as teachers, they gave them a little Yeti plushie and gave them ideas for how to use the Yeti in their classroom. So it became not just this way to use it as part of who they wanted to be for their customers, but they leaned into it and built it into the curriculum itself.
If you want to see the full interview and get access to secret scenes, you need to sign up for my exclusive mastermind program, The Customer Method, and get instant access. I created the customer method to give you all the strategies, playbooks, tools, and the support you'll need in order to take your customer success practice within your own organization to the next level. And there's never been a better time than now to step up your business customer success game. So go ahead, check out the description below on how to join us, and I'll see you on the inside. What are some of the biggest mistakes you have seen when companies either don't do a mission statement or they pick the wrong one? What is a bad mission statement or bad bullseye, if there is one?
So I think a bad mission statement is one that doesn't align to what you're actually delivering. If you say our customers are everything to us, and that's your mission statement, and you deliver a not great customer experience, then that doesn't build trust. And it's pretty easy for a customer to look at your website and say, look, this is what you say you're about, and this is what I'm getting from you. It sort of enhances the disconnect in a lot of ways. It's even worse because you're saying this is who we are and you're not aligned to it.
We're ready to lean into the I in your Mint framework. I'm already impressed. You got with the I.
So the I is all about being intuitive about your customer. Who you're selling to, who you're serving matters. And when you are clear on who you're serving, it makes it so much easier for everybody. It makes it easier for you to craft marketing messages that resonate. It makes it easier for you to identify what your product roadmap should look like. It makes it easier for you to even write emails to your customer that are going to land for them. Because again, it allows you to be specific. It allows you to stand out. You're not being generic, but also you're delivering service at a deeper level because you're not trying to serve everybody. You have 100 customers and 100 products, then it's very, very hard to deliver a great customer experience. And the more you can be targeted, the more you can cut through the noise and deliver something of high value on behalf of your customers. And sometimes that's hard because it means, sales team, saying no to bad revenue. But the cost of bad revenue can be truly higher when you talk about the impact on the team, what it costs to deliver a product to somebody that isn't aligned with what it is that you do, trying to like wedge in customizations for them, the cost to the customer success team, like all of those different things. Bad revenue is expensive.
I think it's an important aspect, being very clear about who your ideal customer is and making sure that in your messaging, in your website, in the talk track during sales, in your communication with clients, you specifically talk to that, what we call in marketing, avatar. This does two things. First of all, it naturally filters out anybody that's not ideal for you, but it also puts you in a better trusted advisor position when you talk the same language as the ones that you do want to attract and you do want to keep. And it puts you in much easier, faster way as a trusted advisor when you use the right industry terminology or profession terminology, depending on who you are. Mint, M, we did the I. What's the N stand for?
So that's navigate your journey. So as you think about the customer journey, what you want to look at is the key moments in time when your interaction can build loyalty or block loyalty, and understand that these moments happen. And so we call them key inflection points. So a key inflection point can be how you kick off a client. A key inflection point can be a business review. A key inflection point can be your renewal sequence. There's additional inflection points along the journey that don't get as much attention. And how you have a plan for them and how you can know that they might crop up and be able to sort of jump into action, that's the understanding, that's your ability to navigate this journey. Ultimately, what you want is a smooth journey in which you're able to know what the customer needs before they even know they need it. Or when something comes up that you didn't realize, to be able to be so prepared that you can just jump into action. And that begins with clarifying what that customer journey looks like.
Can you tell us a little bit of like what kind of moments of value or moments of truth or key inflection points do we need to pay attention to almost always?
I'll give you one that isn't necessarily on the journey map. It's one of the ones that is the most powerful. So this is my super secret sauce right here. And that is key account change. If the person who is the key account leader on the client side, if they shift, that is one of the biggest predictors of churn. Recently, somebody did a study and they dug into the data analytics, and it was the number one driver of customer churn is a key account change. And so having a play for that, spoiler alert, that's the T in the Mint method, is to transform your outcomes with playbooks. Having a playbook that you have at your disposal so that when that moment comes, you know what to do. Your team knows what to do. Because otherwise what happens when you have this key account change, the natural inclination is to freeze. Oh, this is an uncomfortable moment. Oh, I'm not sure what to do. You know what? I'll wait. When people aren't sure, the inclination to procrastinate becomes strong. Like, oh, I'm busy. I'll kick it down the road. What we found is that there's a 48-hour delta between being able to jump on that and missing the moment. From the time you find out that there's going to be a key account change, you want to act within 48 hours. You want to start the process of building rapport with the new person and making that transition in as positive a way as possible. And so it's one of those that falls off the radar screen a lot of times because it isn't a nice point on our journey. I was like, oh, we're going to sign the contract and then we're going to have a kickoff meeting and then the key account person's going to change. Nope, nope, nope. It doesn't work that way. So you have to have these non-linear plays in your arsenal also.
Got it. And I like how you framed it, key account person or key account stakeholder, because a lot of times we see playbooks for the key executive sponsor change. But honestly, if it's your admin or your champion, you're going to be in as much trouble.
It can be the executive sponsor, but if you're a person who is a couple layers down, there's a lot to talk about and unpack in the difference between your buyers and your users. And when you are in this software world where the people who are buying are not the people who are using, or they're just one of many people who are using your products and services, then you've got to be thinking about how you're delivering value to everybody, not just the people who bought.
So T, transform with playbooks. I've seen companies develop playbooks, they document them, and then they take the Word document and they put it on a SharePoint or something, never to be seen. And maybe how they use them is when a new CSM comes on board, but nobody follows it. In other words, Ali, well, we can define and document playbooks. What have you seen about creating playbooks that actually creates change in the organization and transforms the way people or CSMs or people in the company truly interact with customers?
So this is why I talk about customer experience versus customer success. I think about customer experience as being the umbrella that looks out over the customer's experience from soup to nuts. And that is inherently cross-functional. Customer success is a department that has lots of little pieces in it. You can have an implementation team and you can have a RevOps team. You can have different pieces inside of customer success. You're absolutely right. Playbooks can be created and then discarded. And so it is only when it becomes a part of the culture, it's only when it becomes knit into the fabric of how you do work that it takes off. So a lot of that does boil down to who's owning it, who's embedding it, who is making this real. It is when there is executive engagement that you get the best buy-in. If it's just a team, especially because so much of the customer experience is cross-functional. I was just talking to somebody at a client the other day, and they're getting pushed by a customer about a product problem, and the product team isn't being responsive to the CSM, and they were saying, what do I do? These are the challenges of customer success. Your ability to perform is not just about you. Marketing is a fairly carve-outable job. Sales is a fairly carve-outable job. Product is a fairly carve-outable job. CS is not. So that is why you got to look at these things. So the best successes are looking at it from a customer experience perspective and not just a customer success perspective.
Lots of great insights, Ali. I can't wait to actually have everyone read your book. I'm going to include the link to the book. It's like an Amazon link is probably best. So you can buy it yourself in hardcover. Ali, do you also have it in audio?
It is in audio as well, yes.
So if you want the audiobook, there you go. That's another option. So with that, it's a wrap. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next episode.